Hello dear friends.
Sunt 23 de secunde, 22.
Friends, we are at the Brahma Kumari World Spiritual University Center in Bucharest, and we have the privilege to talk with Miss Pratibha Patel, the head of Regional Africa,
Assistant
Regional Head of Africa, Brahma Kumaris World
Yes.
University. So I'm very glad to meet you. And please tell us which are your impressions regarding the spirituality in Romania and about the relevance of Brahma Kumari World University in United Nations, because as we know, for 5 or 6 years already, or no, I think there are 10 years since yoga and this form of spirituality is included in the most important humanity heritage of the world.
Good morning to my viewers. First of all, I would like to share that this is my first time to Romania, Bucharest. I actually did a lot of practice to pronounce the city's name. I hope I'm pronouncing properly. It's not even 24 hours that I have been here on this land. And of course, I met a few souls. And yesterday I had little opportunity of sharing. And the impression I had was the souls on this land are very thirsty of spirituality. And they're just waiting like a bird in India, which has been waiting for rain. It keeps the mouth open and senses that the rain will come any minute and will quench the thirst. That's what I felt for the people here. In spite of having a language barrier, we could still communicate very nicely. Not only translation, but soul to soul.
So you think it's a thirst of spirituality, of truth, or what thirst?
100% truth. 100%. And they can sense it that I will get that true introduction through this place. It's just that there's a gap, a huge gap, and it will cover, but they feel it.
Yeah, because you touched with this statement a very sensible point of our national consciousness, and not only regarding spirituality, but we have a very difficult political situation because our presidential elections have been cancelled anew illegally in 2024, and everybody knows this, but the political regime still continues based on this lies. However, this is not our topic, but it is connected. So, for us, indeed, Romanian spirituality is the basis. Of course, most of Romanians are oriented towards Christianity.
Yes.
With Jesus Christ. Please tell us your feelings, your impressions regarding the spirituality in Africa. I know that also in Africa there are a lot of Christianity.
Yeah. Can I first finish the half of the first question? Regarding the UN and the Yoga Day. It was the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, who actually introduced this to the UN and the world about 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah, in 2015.
Yes. And of course, he didn't mean meditation. The exercise of the mind, but the world took it the other way around and introduced this as Hatha Yoga, the physical body's yoga for a healthy lifestyle. And this year's International Yoga Day is healthy aging. And so we are aging, all of us, but can we have a healthy aging? And actually it is said that a healthy mind gives you a healthy body. Not necessarily a healthy body gives you a healthy mind. So if we can treat and be attentive towards the mind, then the body will be sorted out. And so this is the understanding of the Brahma Kumaris, but the world is celebrating it as Hatha Yoga, which is fine, we have no problem. In between that, we do also share, meditation.
Yeah, maybe we should underline that yoga is not necessarily a religion. It is a spiritual path, and following this path, people get healthier. Exactly as you said, there are many scientific studies regarding this objectives, and they are very conclusive.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, your other question about Africa.
Yeah.
Africa is a huge continent with 54 official countries and 2 islands out of the continent, but they are under Africa. So we have total 56 countries. I always mention that if you see one country in Africa, that doesn't mean you've seen Africa. It's huge, diverse, and very, very special. It is divided into 4 parts. The southern part of Africa is extremely developed, infrastructure, beautiful weather.
South Africa.
Southern Africa, there are 8 countries under that.
I know.
South Africa is one country, but Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Botswana, all these are under South Africa. I was born in Zambia. And so that is what it is. East Africa is very Indian, very Indian. It has a touch of Africa, but it also has a touch of India. A lot of Indians, generation after generation. We have temples, gurudwara, mosque, everything there. And you can get all the produce of India, like Indian vegetables and everything. In other words, they have created a small India in that part of Africa. Then you go to West Africa, there are many different countries, but majority are French. So it's Francophone. And so everything which runs in those countries is based on the former colony of France. So the language, the currency, the laws system, road system, everything is French. But between French, Spanish, and Portuguese, and a little bit of English, but still. And then you go to North Africa, it's very Islamic, very, very Islamic. And so you feel you are in a small Middle East country. So this is the overall picture. But Africans had their own faith and religion, which was African traditional religion. Everything to do with nature. You know, the sky, the sun, the trees, the vegetation, and all that. But then the colonizers came and introduced Christianity to them. I will tell you there are more Christians than the Christians. There are more Islamic than the Islamic. And then Hindus never converted them, never. But they still feel that they want to be open to that faith also. So then they are welcome. They go to the Hindu temples, they do the rituals, they sing the devotional songs and all that. But Africans are so strong that whatever they do, it's difficult to start, but they do it from their soul.
And their faith is very deep.
Exactly. And then the Brahma Kumaris came not to convert anybody in the world, but educate. It's an education. What is life? What is religion? And what is spirituality? And of course, Brahma Kumaris is based on spirituality. And so it's something to do with the spirit, the inner consciousness. And so we have got worldwide 133 countries and 9,000 branches. And we have got a lot of activities in Africa also.
Yeah, I think we need to cross over all kind of dogmas. Me, myself, and many others of my generation, we are used to think based on science. And regarding this perspective, we can understand that the human being is very easy to understand when we look on the point of view of vibration, resonance, and we really discover through the means of advanced science that we have not only a physical body, but we have an aura, an energetic body, and even a soul that subsists after the so-called death. And these are scientific facts. I mean, Raimondi and many others, they explain what near-death experiences are this phenomena. There are millions of
back and beyond.
Of subjects that they have this experience. So that's why I think this is a path to understand what spirituality is through science. Science means. And that's why I appreciate very much the World University that promote this scientific values. So if you can tell us a bit more about the Brahma Kumaris World University.
The Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual University was founded in 1936 in India, in Hyderabad, Sindh, which is part of Pakistan now. The founder was a staunch Hindu. But he came to a stage where he felt, what next? Because what I've been doing, I'm doing it for lifetime, but there should be something more. And beautiful visions came in front of him. You know, what is the world? How is the transformation going to take place? And what is it going to become? And how is it going to become? So there was a message in the visions that this old world will not carry on anymore, which I think all of the scientists are also telling us, that planet Earth is exhausted. If you go back to climate, look at climate change. Look at the soil erosion. Look at the pollution. We cannot carry on for our next generations the way it is. The Earth cannot serve. So it needs some transformation. And so whatever, whether it's natural calamities, whether it's atomic bombs, whatever it is what human beings have created, will transform this world. It will not destroy, but it will rejuvenate. It's like rejuvenating. If you have your garden and it's a little bit old now with a lot of weeds and all that, you would remove everything. The garden is just there, but then you will rejuvenate it. Similarly, it's like that. Now, the Brahma Kumaris started in India, but then it spread all over the world, as I mentioned. And it does not have any limitation of color, nationality, gender, age, class, nothing like that. It's open to all, irrespective where we come from.
I think Brahma Kumari has almost 1 million members
Yes.
worldwide.
Yeah.
Mhm. And it's worth to mention that Yoga Day on June 21st, is celebrated in all the world.
Absolutely, it started. It started already. I'm receiving messages from everywhere that we did Yoga Day International, and this is what it was like. And so it's not only 21st of June, but it's before and even after. So world is enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, it's a way to educate people on spirituality, and that we can be healthier, we can have relationships between us, between countries,
Yes.
not only
Cultures.
on political, but on culture, exactly. And one thing I think is also worth to mention is that regarding Africa, that the mankind is going to a huge transformation, a huge shift. We are going to multipolarity. And Africa, as you mentioned, was colonized by some empires, Great Britain, France, Spain. And it was a lot of sufferance in Africa, we know this, and exploitation. And now the relationships are different. Africa is very open to BRICS, to Russia, to China. And I think spirituality is a ground, a basis for this transformation, for this shift. Yes, and the question would be this, how do you perceive this foundation of spirituality in exchange, let's say, with other countries? Because Africa is very rich and people still were in poverty. But promoting spirituality, we can understand the world in a different way.
You see, what happens is that Africa is rich. You already mentioned it. And I remember some years ago, I was invited to a UN conference in Belgium, and that was on less developed countries in the world. And I was very surprised that the countries where we are serving are not least developed. They are very developed. But in spite of that, Africa is seen as underdeveloped. And so what has happened, it's not the development, it's not the education. They're very educated, but the only thing is that self-esteem was taken away in the colonial time and also the slavery time. Now they have stepped up and they're recognizing it. But what is happening is spirituality is hand in hand. Spirituality creates self-esteem, self-respect, that we are all same. Bodies are different, maybe colors, language, but we are all souls who are same, and they love it. They love this. Not many practice, but whoever practice experiences that not only spirituality gives them opportunities in life, but spirituality brings health and prosperity. Family structure they have already, which maybe other parts of the world don't have it. But they have. They respect every relationship in a very beautiful manner. But prosperity is what they need. Prosperity doesn't mean millions of dollars, but whatever they have, they use it with respect.
Yes, exactly. This is the basis of society. I mean, it's difficult to construct spirituality when you are in starvation.
Yes.
Yeah. And the last question, maybe, Please tell us some of the basic principles of Brahma Kumari University, and which is actually what does it mean, the spirituality of the Brahma Kumari? Because and please keep in mind that in Romania most of the people are in Christianity,
Yes.
Jesus Christ. How can they relate to another form of spirituality?
Yeah.
Which are the resemblances or the differences?
Yes. Now, Brahma Kumaris is not a religion. It is a school where we educate about spirituality. For example, the organized religions have some code of conduct. Christianity has, the 10 Commandments. Hinduism has the principle of non-violence. Islam has 5 times the prayers. You see, you don't become an Islam because you remember God 5 times a day. You don't become a Hindu because you're practicing non-violence. Non-violence is very humanitarian. One of the commandments in the 10 Commandments is love thy neighbor. We have a neighbor everywhere we go. That doesn't mean I become a Christian. But what is very important is whatever my code of conduct in religion is, there's a huge gap in practice. We need to practice. There's a huge gap. I go to church, I go to temple, I pray and kneel down 5 times a day. But then what is my lifestyle? So can we reduce that gap and create a bridge? Brahma Kumaris want to do that. It doesn't matter which faith you believe in. Even if you don't believe in any organized faith, it's okay. Do you believe in your own self? And if yes, then what is the ability of the self? Let me use that for the betterment of the world. And in that way, we are bridging up cultures, religion, faith. So here we don't want to convert. The founder never said, go and convert somebody. Share. What I have, I share with you. What you have, you share with me.
Yeah, we need to find the common values.
Yes.
Universal.
So why do we want to fight? Why do we want to create tug of war? That's what happening in different faiths. Although they are from the same, still they say we are higher than you. We are real. We are honest. So what is it that is making us apart? It's the ego.
Mhm.
Can we all transform our ego wherever you are? You're an imam, you're a guru, you are a cardinal, you're a pope. It doesn't matter, that is just roles and responsibility. But can we reduce our ego? That is creating a huge gap between mankind and man.
Actually, finding the common values that are universal means to go inside us, to find ourselves. But if we don't do this and we remain
There's a gap.
stage of ego, we became dogmatic, and this is very dangerous. And we know what dogmas did to mankind. For instance, even Christianity. When they consider my religion is the best, if you don't convert to my religion, I'm going to kill you. And many colonizers did this, and they made the Christianity with a sword. And this is, of course, completely against Christianity, the real meaning of what Jesus Christ did. And Jesus Christ, as I think you very well know, said you need to love your enemies.
Exactly.
And when someone hurts you, slap you, turn the other.
Okay, now you were asking about the principles of Brahma Kumaris. So the very first principle is that most of the religions do mention. Whether they follow or not is a different thing. when there are 5 vices: lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego. Can we overcome them? At least, maybe not 100%, but we do bring a percentage in our life which is free from all these vices. And then we have a set of values for everybody, not for Christians, not for Hindu, not for men, not for women, for every spirit on this planet Earth and everything on this planet Earth. That is love, unconditional love, purity, honesty, dedication, happiness. That is, let us share with one another. So this is the main principles. And of course, in that then we are quite strict with our vegetarian lifestyle. We are vegetarians.
It's very happy.
Yes.
By
Not all Hindus are vegetarians. Don't mistaken that we will convert people to Hinduism. Because there are many in India who actually are not vegetarian. So this is the Brahma Kumaris way of life, where we are so strict with food and diet. We call it sattvic food. And in that, what I eat, when I eat, how I eat, has a very big effect on your lifestyle.
Wonderful. And a final remark for me is that I think for audience we need to understand the difference of embracing universal spirituality and the so-called ecumenism. Because ecumenism is a kind of dilution of spirituality. I mean, they take some principles from here, some principles from here, but it's not very deep. Because when we go deep, all the spiritual paths are going on the same God. God is the same. It's not a God of Christians or of Hindu. It's the same. I read a book written by Vivekananda,
Yes.
and he said that the religions are like some windows. A window is rectangular, one is round, one is triangle, yeah. But the sky is the same. The God.
What you see through the window is the same.
Exactly. This is the essence.
Here, we do not want to convert anybody, but we definitely want to guide. And so I would like to share with the people of Romania that the Brahma Kumaris is very humble in Romania. Very, very humble. It's a simple place, but what you will achieve from there is life transforming. Because spirituality treats me from internally, the soul, and not just superficially the body. I'm sorry if you feel a little bit bad, but all these years, generation after generation, religions have only watered the leaves of the tree, watering every leaf. But spirituality takes you into the roots and it gives water to the whole tree and nourishes wherever it is needed. So we now need to do as mankind, water the spirit and not just the leaves.
Thank you. Very wise words. And I wish you a divine success here in Romania, promoting spirituality. I know that you have a lot of activities at the Embassy of India and in preparing the Yoga World Day on 21st of June. So thank you very much for this interview, and God help us.
Thank you, thank you. I would like to end by saying Om Shanti to my brothers and sisters of Romania, which simply means I am a peaceful being.
Thank you. Om Shanti.